This is a hockey match between the USA and the Soviet Union held in 1980 during the Cold War, and guys, what happened that day will blow your mind. In this video, we're diving into some of the craziest wins in sports history, and first up, the most dramatic win in football history. We've seen some pretty wild Champions League finals, but nothing comes close to the 2005 final. Seriously, what happened in this UCL final will leave you stunned. AC Milan, a team stacked with legends like Kaká, Maldini, and Shevchenko, rolled into Istanbul as heavy favorites. They had already won the Champions League 2 years earlier and were one of the most decorated teams in European football history. On the other hand, Liverpool hadn't won since 1984 and were the ultimate underdogs, relying on grit and belief. Over 40,000 Liverpool fans flooded Istanbul, turning the city into a sea of red and belting out "You'll Never Walk Alone." The energy was electric, but their faith was soon tested. Just 50 seconds into the game, Milan's captain Paolo Maldini scored the fastest goal in Champions League final history, a record that still stands today. The Milan fans roared, and Liverpool supporters were stunned into silence. By halftime, Hernan Crespo added 2 more goals, the second coming off a brilliant assist from Kaká. Liverpool was down 3-0, and it looked hopeless. Fans were crushed. Some even left the stadium in tears, convinced it was over. The mood in the Liverpool dressing room was somber, but manager Rafa Benitez rallied his team, urging them to score early and believe in the impossible. Captain Steven Gerrard headed in Liverpool's first goal early in the second half, sparking hope. 2 minutes later, halftime sub Vladimir Smicer drilled one from outside the box, sending the crowd into a frenzy. At 3-2, everyone was wide awake. Moments later, Gerrard surged into the box and was fouled. Xabi Alonso stepped up for the penalty. His shot was saved, but he smashed in the rebound, leveling it at 3-3. The unthinkable had happened. The crowd went wild. Milan pushed hard in extra time, but Liverpool's goalie Jerzy Dudek made an insane double save to stop Shevchenko. It was as if fate itself was on Liverpool's side. In the penalty shootout, Dudek's antics rattled Milan. When he saved Shevchenko's final shot, that was it. Game over. Liverpool had pulled off the impossible, coming back from 3-0 down to win their first Champions League title in over 2 decades. There was just no way anyone could properly explain what had just happened. People still call it the miracle of Istanbul, and honestly, it's hard to argue. If you think that's crazy, wait until you hear about what went down in a hockey match between the Soviet Union and the USA. But first, let's talk about the craziest win in basketball history. The date was December 9th, 2004. The Houston Rockets were hosting the reigning NBA champs, the San Antonio Spurs. On paper, it looked like a mismatch. The Spurs, with legends like Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili, were rolling. Meanwhile, the Rockets were struggling at 9-11, with questions about whether Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming could make it work. To top it off, McGrady was dealing with injuries, and critics saying he couldn't lead a team. For most of the game, those critics seemed right. The Rockets struggled offensively, and with just over a minute left, the Spurs led 74-64. Fans were leaving the arena and commentators were wrapping up their analysis, calling it another disappointing loss for the Rockets. But then, McGrady did the unthinkable. In 33 seconds, McGrady dropped 13 points and single-handedly flipped the script. First, he drained a contested three-pointer, cutting the lead to 7. After the Spurs hit free throws, he followed up with another 3, plus a foul from Tim Duncan, turning it into a 4-point play. The Rockets' defense tightened, forcing turnovers, and McGrady nailed another triple over Bruce Bowen. The crowd, now losing their minds, roared back to life. With just seconds left and the Rockets down by 2, McGrady intercepted a loose ball. Instead of settling for overtime, he pulled up for a 3 over Brent Barry. Swish. Game over. The Rockets won 81-80. Even Spurs coach Greg Popovich had to admit, guys get hot. He's a great player. After the game, McGrady grinned and said, "For all those fans who left early, y'all missed a great game." It wasn't just a great game, it was pure magic. Crazy, right? But Tom Brady's performance in Super Bowl LI takes it to another level. The date was February 5th, 2017, Super Bowl LI in Houston, Texas. The New England Patriots faced the Atlanta Falcons for football's biggest prize. The Falcons, led by Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, had one of the NFL's most explosive offenses. The Patriots, under Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, were chasing a 5th Super Bowl title. No one saw what was coming. By halftime, the Falcons led 21-3, and early in the third quarter, they extended it to 28-3. Social media blew up with memes roasting the Patriots. Even diehard fans started to lose hope. The Patriots looked finished, but Brady wasn't done. With 8 minutes and 31 seconds left in the third quarter, he led the Pats to the greatest comeback in NFL history. First, James White scored a touchdown to make it 28-9. A field goal made it 28-12. Then came Julian Edelman's jaw-dropping catch, scooping the ball inches off the turf. It was the turning point. With 57 seconds left in regulation, White scored again, making it 28-26. On the 2-point conversion, Danny Amendola caught the pass to tie it at 28-28. For the first time in Super Bowl history, the game went to overtime. The Patriots won the coin toss, and Brady worked his magic. He marched his team down the field, capping it off with White's game-winning touchdown. Final score, 34-28. Brady threw for a Super Bowl record 466 yards, cementing his GOAT status. Afterward, he said, "It's about the team. It's about belief." This wasn't just a comeback, it was a masterclass in perseverance, proving why you never count out a champion. And finally, the game of the ages, February 1980. The Cold War was in full swing, and the hockey rink became the battlefield. On one side, the Soviet Union, a juggernaut that had dominated hockey for decades. On the other, Team USA, a group of college kids led by coach Herb Brooks. The Soviets crushed the Americans 10-3 in a scrimmage just weeks earlier, and no one gave Team USA a shot. But Brooks had a plan. He didn't pick the best players, he picked the right ones. He pushed them to their limits, building a team that believed they could pull off the impossible. His training methods were grueling, even controversial, but his belief in his players never wavered. He drilled into them the idea that this was more than just hockey. It was about pride, unity, and proving the doubters wrong. When the two teams met on February 22nd, 1980, it was more than a game. It was a clash of ideologies. The Soviets struck first, as expected, but the Americans refused to fold. A last-second goal in the first period tied it, and suddenly the invincible Soviets looked human. By the third period, it was 3-3. Then with 10 minutes left, Captain Mike Eruzione fired a shot that found the back of the net, giving Team USA the lead for the first time. The crowd's roar was deafening, a thunderous wave of hope and disbelief. The final minutes were chaos. The Soviets attacked relentlessly, unleashing a barrage of shots, but goalie Jim Craig was a wall. Save after save, he held his ground, defying the impossible. The tension in the arena was electric, with fans chanting "USA, USA" louder and louder, willing their team to victory. Broadcaster Al Michaels' iconic call, "Do you believe in miracles? Yes," perfectly captured the magic of the moment as the buzzer sounded. Team USA had defeated the greatest hockey team on earth, 4-3, dubbed the Miracle on Ice. It wasn't just a win, it was a moment that transcended sports. It symbolized hope, resilience, and the power of belief. For one unforgettable night, a group of underdogs changed the course of sports history, proving to the world that sometimes miracles really do happen.